Is Donald Trump dismantling the Department of Education? So, as I understand it, the Department of Education has a little bit of a different role than in than in countries such as mine. In my country, the Ministry of Education is the primary source for things like the curriculum, things for coordinating education around the country. In the United States of America, that's a bit different. You have the Ministry of Education, which is federal, I think, and you have all the individual states that decide their curriculum on their own, which I think is not the best system because it means that the level of education in the United States is not consistent across the board, right? This automatically has to mean that if a certain red state decides we're going to teach creationism on par with evolution or something like that, then that state automatically becomes a little bit worse off when it comes to education compared to other states. But I also understand that the Ministry of Education in the United States takes care of budgeting, assigning money to schools in different states. That is certainly something that the Ministry of Education does. The question is whether or not it actually has any at all say as to what is being taught at schools. And to my knowledge, not really. So let me see. The Trump administration is discussing an executive order. He's doing everything via executive orders. Have you noticed? Have you noticed that Donald Trump does everything in his life as a president via executive orders? Like just this modus operandi. He doesn't do anything through regular procedures. He just wants something and just pushes it through executive orders. That is such a weird system. So, executive order to dismantle the Department of Education, according to reports. Why it matters. On the campaign trail, Trump repeatedly pledged to shut down the Department of Education, which he says had been infiltrated by radical zealots and Marxists. But what is even the role of the Ministry of Education in the United States? He said the agency's power should be transferred to the state. At isn't it for the most part, isn't it already for the most part in the hands of the states? Okay, I have to see US Ministry of Education. What does it do? Because Wikipedia, United States Department of Education. The United States Department of Education is a cabinet level dependent on the United States government. It began operating in 1980, having been created after the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare was split into the Department of Education and the Department of Health and Human Services. Purpose and functions. This is the part that actually is of interest to me, because I know it does not correlate to like the Polish Ministry of Education one-to-one. Unlike the systems of many other countries, there you go, education in the United States is organized at a subnational level by each of the 50 states. See? So already this says this, but the article states that Trump states that the agency's power should be transferred to the states. But it's like the states already by and large decide the most important things like the curriculum, etc. Under the 10th Amendment, the federal government and Department of Education are not involved in determining curricula or educational standards or establishing schools or colleges. So what does even the Ministry of Education do in the United States? The Department of Defense Education Activity oversees schools located on American military bases, and the Department of the Interior's Bureau of Indian Education supports tribally controlled schools. The quality of higher education institutions and their degrees are maintained through an informal private process known as accreditation, over which the Department of Education has no direct public jurisdictional control. So, what does it do? The department identifies 4 key functions: establishing policies on federal financial aid for education and distributing as well as monitoring those funds. So they have an extra amount of money that they can give to schools. Collecting data on America's schools and disseminating research, focusing national attention on key issues and education, and makes recommendations for education reform. Prohibiting discrimination and ensuring equal access to education. I guess I don't know what Trump says has to go to the states. Like what? This? Prohibiting discrimination and ensuring equal access to education? I don't know what the point of this is, of dismantling this ministry. And what does Trump refer to when he says the that the agency's power should be transferred to the states? The Department of Education is a member of the United States Inter Interagency Council on Homelessness. Oh, maybe that's why he wants to destroy it. And works with federal partners to ensure proper education for homeless and runaway youth in the United States. Maybe that's the part that Trump is actually against. Like, what do the radical zealots and Marxists even do in the Ministry of Education? Does he even know what the institution is for? I have a feeling that Trump does not even understand what it does, what it's for, and if it has any say in education. Reports about plans to dismantle the department come as Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, has been working to reduce the size of the government's workforce and slash spending. What to know? The Wall Street Journal, which first reported the planned executive action, said the executive order being discussed would shut down all functions of the department that are not written explicitly into the statute or move certain functions to other departments. Well, like what? The newspaper, citing people familiar with the matter, reported that it would also call for developing a legislative proposal to abolish the department. The expected order acknowledges that eliminating the education department entirely would require an act of Congress, so will instruct the department to come up with a plan to diminish its staff and functions to its functions are already minimal, from what I understand. Like their function already is minimal. The Washington Post reported, citing 3 people briefed on its contents. A White House official confirmed to the Post that it is preparing for executive action later in February that will fulfill Trump's campaign promise to defund the education department. This is crazy. This is insane, actually. Dozens of employees at the department were put on paid administrative leave on Friday in response to Trump's executive order banning diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the federal government, the Associated Press reported. So, Make America Great Again so far means fire as many people as possible, make America homeless again. Like, how many people have lost their jobs now? Just how many? How does that make America great again? At least 55 workers lost access to their government email accounts and were told not to report to the office, the AP reported. Madison Biederman, an education department spokesperson, told the AP that a DOGE team was working at the department on Monday to implement Trump's executive orders and agenda. Trump does not have the authority to abolish the Department of Education by executive order, since eliminating a federal agency requires congressional action. Last week, Republican Representative Thomas Massie reintroduced a bill that seeks to abolish the education department. The one-sentence bill, H.R. 899, says the Department of Education shall terminate on December 31st, 2026. What people are saying. Musk wrote on X on Monday night, Reagan campaign on ending the federal debt of education, which was created by Carter in 1979, but it was bigger when Reagan left office than when he started. Not this time. President Donald Trump will succeed in depriving people of education. Trump said during a rally in September 1st, I said all the time, I'm dying to get back to this. We will ultimately eliminate the Federal Department of Education. Am I going to hear any justification for this move? Any at all? Jesus, okay. Said in a statement after introducing the bill to abolish the education. Why? You got to remember, this is in a country where everyone decided to look up what a tariff is after they voted for him. Education isn't our strong suit. Oh my god. Really? What is a TIF? Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. I do not delete comments ever. I do not even delete transphobic comments that people make in chat against me. So why would I delete yours? Um, what? What's wrong, Dr. Johns? Where is it? Unelected bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. Oh my fucking god. Really? Massey said in a statement after reintroducing the bill to abolish the education department. Unelected bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. should not be in charge of our children's intellectual and moral development. Okay, there's so much wrong with this. I don't even know where to begin. First of all, an unelected group, Trump's, Elon Musk's Dodge, is interfering in the Ministry of Education, okay? That's first of all, okay? They are interfering. They're unelected. Dodge is not elected, okay? Second of all, the Department of Education has no say in children's intellectual and moral development because it has no say about the curriculum or anything education related. Ironically enough, the Department of Education, it only can give money to schools or certain students, I guess. It makes no sense. This whole states and local communities are best positioned to shape curricula. They already do this! States and local communities already shape the curricula that meets the need of their students. People want to abolish something that they do not what it does. People want to demolish the department without knowing even what it can and cannot do. It's incredible. Do I have to go to the wiki again and read purpose and functions? Unlike the systems of many other countries, the federal government and the Department of Education are not involved in determining curricula or educational standards or establishing schools or colleges. The Department of Education does not do that. This is ridiculous. This is so stupid. I cannot believe that Trump wants to eliminate the Department of Education because curriculum should be in the hands of the states when it's already in the hands of the states and the Department of Education has nothing to do with it. And then we have idiots like here that say unelected bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. should not be in charge of our children's intellectual and moral development. States and local communities are best positioned to shape curricula that meets the needs of their students. That's already happening. Schools should be accountable. Parents have the right to choose the most appropriate educational opportunity for their children, including homeschool, public school, or private school. Homeschooling as it exists in the United States should be banned, okay? I'm gonna go and say it. The homeschooling as it exists in the United States should be forbidden, okay? Parents should not just be able to shelter their kids from society, to isolate their children completely from society, and just fill their heads with a bunch of complete nonsense. Okay? That evolution is not real, that just it's all about God, etc., etc. That should be forbidden. I had homeschooling for a bit when I was small, at the beginning of my education. But homeschooling in Poland is completely different than homeschooling in the US, okay? I don't even remember, I vaguely remember that I had homeschooling for a very short period of time when I was small. And how it looked like was that teachers came from the public school system and they did the official curriculum with me in a one-on-one setting, okay? And this is how I can accept it. I can accept if like a child has anxiety problems, cannot handle education in a group, cannot handle dealing with the noise of a school building or whatever, cannot deal with the whole ecosystem of schooling, in which case the child stays at home. Teachers from the educational system are sent to the kid. Probably they get some special payment for doing this, and they do the curriculum with the child. right? In a one-on-one basis at home. That is how I understand homeschooling should be performed, right? And that is something that I am willing to accept being a thing. But parents just taking their kid, completely isolating them from the school system, from society, and saying, you know what? Actually, the earth is, I don't know, 2,000 years old or something, and there's no such thing as evolution, and spiritual healing is better than conventional medicine. And that is the knowledge that I want to impart on you. That is my homeschooling that I have the right to. No, that sort of thing should be forbidden by law, okay? The parents should not be teachers. Parents are not qualified to be teachers. There's a reason why we have teachers. Do you know why? Because you need special qualifications to be a teacher. Okay, when a child gets ill, we do not accept home healing. Okay, that a parent can just become a doctor to their kid and not send them to the doctor or to the hospital if something happens. We do not accept that. I assume even in the United States, you do not have home healing. So why should we have this sort of weird homeschooling? It's nonsensical. It's stupid. It's damaging. It's damaging to the children. There's a reason why in most countries education is compulsory. Okay, there's a reason why why it's considered mandatory, because certain level of education is required and cannot be just provided by your dad or your mom, because we don't know what sort of qualifications they have to teach. Whatever. It's ridiculous. Homeschool. A home is not a school. Again, I have given you a scenario in which I am willing to accept homeschooling, but Americans would not see it as homeschooling, probably. Representative Judy Chu, a Democrat from California, wrote on X that the Trump administration is already drawing up plans to use the USAID playbook to shut down USDGov. The Department of Education provides grants for low-income students, enforces civil rights laws, and administrates our student loan program. So this is what it's all about. Depriving people that don't have enough money to pursue education. That is what it's all about. Depriving people of money that they need to cut costs, to cut spending. Okay? This is what in reality it's all about. It's never been about putting the development of children in the hands of the states, because that's already what is happening. It's not clear exactly when the Trump administration could take executive action regarding the Department of Education. So actually, you know what? The Department of Education actually has a pretty important role in the US, even if it does not take care of the curriculum or the educational part itself, which is a bit ironic considering that it is called the Ministry of Education, the Department of Education. But actually, given people that are less well off financially the opportunity to pursue education through grants is important. It is actually very, very important. And this administration wants just to gut it. Make America great again by depriving people of educational opportunity, I suppose. That will surely make education greater. Jack, don't do it. Did you know that people in Trump's office and people that support Trump do not know what the department or that they want to do gut even does? Did you know that people on Trump's side do not even know what the competencies of the Department of Education is? Like, again, Massey said in a statement, unelected bureaucrats should not be in charge of our children's intellectual and moral development. States and local communities are best positioned to shape curricula that meet the needs of their students. No, they don't. They said that they want to gut the Department of Education because curriculum should be in the hands of the states. So are you going to tell me that if a person says the Department of Education cannot be in charge of children's educational and moral development, states and local communities are best to position to shape curricula that meet the needs of their students. Are you going to tell me after this sentence that they know what the Department of Education does? Do you know what it does? Jack, don't do it. Okay, Jack, don't do it. What does the Department of Education do? Without looking it up, go. Without looking it up, what can the Department of Education do and what cannot? Okay, what can it do and what cannot it do? What are the things that it can and can't do? Go. Don't look it up. Just tell me. Okay, the Department of Education has nothing to do with your education being trash. So thank you. With this one sentence, it clearly is not doing well. Our education is trash. Already you have demonstrated that you have no clue what the Department of Education does. Yeah, allocates money and resources. So it has nothing to do with the state of education. No, it does not. It does not review the curriculum. Incorrect. I guess I have to go to the Wikipedia again because I guess people in the US do not know what their departments in their own country do. I guess I'll have to read it again. Purpose and functions. Unlike the systems of many other countries, education in the United States is organized at a subnational level by each of the 50 states. Under the 10th Amendment, the federal government and the Department of Education are not involved in determining curricula or educational standards or establishing schools or colleges. The Department of Defense, they do not do that. So yeah, I cannot relax. I cannot relax when a president wants to destroy a department without even knowing what it does. And is so proud of it. And people that support him are like, oh yeah, I know what the department does. And then you show me that you do not. Like at best, the department focuses national attention on key issues in education and makes recommendation for education reform. Recommendations. What the main function of the Department of Education is that you have a poor student that cannot afford education and the department lends him a grant. Like, come on. If you want to gut something or get rid of something, at least have the courtesy to know what it does. It's not easy to look it up. It's not hard. I guess for some it's not easy. I'm baffled. I'm baffled by the fact that certain very basic facts elude people. And then they say, oh yeah, our education is crap, so we should get rid of this department that has absolutely nothing to do with the state of education because it's in the hands of the individual states. What's next? It's not clear. And that is it. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed by these news, okay? What can I say?